those guys ride 30 minutes, man. I was probably, what, 10 minutes? I did like 4 laps. Oh.
It's going down to the finish. One of them is going to lose.
The second is first loses. No one really cares about the second guy.
As far as confidence goes, we have to beat it out of Ricky.
Everybody's got their own theories, you know, what they need to do. I think they need to worry about themselves instead of me first.
Dead center of the screen, the number 4, Ricky Carmichael. Most, if not all, the eyes are focused on him, and he typically gets such great starts. He launches out through the middle of the pack again and takes the whole shot. First man into turn number 1 is the number 4. Oh, man. And look out, this is the freeway in rush hour, and with all the respect everybody has, they don't want to run over Ricky, but now it's going to be Chad Reed who's the leader on his Yamaha.
I'll tell you, he's the loneliest man in the world laying there in the middle of the track with 39 guys coming at him.
With the champ on the ground and James Stewart in 5th place, Reed had all the ingredients he needed for a win.
Here's Ricky Carmichael. We're used to seeing him out front by a margin of this magnitude, but now he's going to be chasing the tail end of the field, of course making a lot of passes, and that puts himself at risk.
Even Reed's day almost came to an end on lap 1.
Went right over the fence, had to come back on course, and now it's Raynard who's out in front.
Meanwhile, Stewart had moved into 3rd, and his march to the front seemed inevitable. That is, until he made a rookie blunder of his own.
Wow, we're seeing all kinds of strange things going on here among the best riders in the world.
Well, this is Chad Reed's race to lose now.
Halfway through the second lap, RC was already in the top 20, with Stewart 2 spots ahead.
James Bubba Stewart and Ricky Carmichael having their own battle deep in the field, trying to get to where these guys are. But Raynard looks like he might be vulnerable now, and Reed's on a tear. Kevin Windham losing a position now to Stewart, as we saw Heath Voss lose a spot to Carmichael a while ago. Carmichael going past Windham as well now, so we'll see if the number 14 Honda can hang in there with both James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael now. Stewart with 1 foot, then both off the pegs, and he punches the number 144 Partridge kind of out of the way and goes on by.
Well, it's got to almost make your head spin when those two come by you. You know, one guy bumps into you, blows you out of a line, the next guy spins you around in a circle.
By the half, it was a classic RC versus Stewart battle, but for 2nd place.
They both came by David Villeman like he was a lapper almost. Villeman pulled over a little bit, looked at both of them. Now they're looking at each other, and they've got a real man-to-man battle going here between the green Kawasaki number 7 and the yellow Suzuki number 4.
The pace these two have going right now is so ridiculous. It's almost impossible that they can go this fast.
Carmichael makes the move. Can he make it stick? He goes around and with a great acceleration indeed takes the position from James Stewart, and now it's payback time with the dirt coming off the back of the 4 Suzuki. It's Stewart that's going to have to pick his lines. The crowd lights up. Stewart's wheels are slightly ahead of those of Carmichael there, and now he has made the pass stick. Carmichael getting wild, comes by, but only briefly.
Well, this is what everyone came to Hangtown to see. These two guys going at it. They're going to do this all season long, back and forth.
RC had lost his goggles by the end of the moto, and Stewart went on to do the impossible. He caught Chad Reed after being down over 30 seconds.
Last lap, look at this, and it is James Stewart right behind, getting into a little bit of traffic right now. Who would have thought that Stewart or Carmichael would catch Reed with that big of a lead? It's happened. These guys are incredible. Up inside, makes it work. Reed tries to cross back behind the wheels, but can't do it. They're in the air together, but James Stewart has made the pass, and you get the feeling that since he caught him, he'll probably be able to pull away, too. Ricky Carmichael shows them the way here in moto number 2.
RC set a pace in the first few laps that went unmatched even by Stewart, who first had to fight his way past Villeman for second. By race's end, the rain started falling heavily again, and Carmichael had enough of a lead to cruise to the moto victory. Given RC's third-place finish from Moto 1, Stewart only needed a second-place finish to clinch his very first motocross class victory.
High Point 30 years, baby. Every one of them, 30. Hard to do when you're only 35, but I did it.
Out front goes James Bubba Stewart on his Kawasaki number 7. Along with him, number 27, Nick Way with a good start. But Stewart's out in front. That spells trouble for everybody else. Carmichael's moved into second. Stewart with a problem. Stalls the bike almost anyway. And Carmichael gets by.
At Mount Morris, fans were greeted with unseasonably warm and dry weather for the area. Coupled with Carmichael, Stewart, and Chad Reed out front, the 30th annual High Point National was set to be an instant classic.
Now comes James Stewart, gets in front of Carmichael for the first time. There's the move. We saw him setting it up for a few laps prior to that.
Yeah, he kept popping a wheel in there, and he knew he was a little quicker, and just set it up that lap and made it happen.
As K-Dub comes in on the number 14 Honda, undetermined problem. He's talking to his mechanic right now, not sure exactly what the problem is.
That's the universal signal for I hate this bike right now.
Back at the front, Stewart and Carmichael's pace was so fast, they were lapping riders after only 5 laps.
And Carmichael has used the traffic to catch up just a little bit. Now they are pretty much together once again.
Yeah, lap traffic's definitely going to play a part. In fact, a lot of times, if James will get held up for 1 second behind somebody in a rut, Ricky can sweep right around the outside and get them both. So it'll be interesting to see how they get their way through traffic.
Whoa, a little mistake there as he got wide coming over the top. And Carmichael closed up a bit on Stewart with that small mistake. Now, here comes Carmichael down the inside, can't make the move.
As the pace quickened, Carmichael continued to press, making mistakes, but recovering in time to keep pushing Stewart in what was turning out to be one of the best motocross battles ever.
Oh, Ricky Carmichael is all over James Stewart now. Side by side into a right-hander. Stewart's got the position. He'll hold the lead, but Carmichael is right there.
He's going wide to the outside. He's using all of this racetrack.
Carmichael made a bad entry into the whoops, but fought the mistake and stayed on two wheels. He had lost sight of Stewart, though.
Up over the tunnel once again. And the number 11 of Travis Preston in front of the leaders right now. Yes, very good riders have gone a lap down here at High Point, and it didn't take long. Oh, James Stewart with a huge mistake, and that hurt. He went in head first off the top of that jump, and that looks serious for James. Take another look.
He kind of slid coming out of that turn. It looks like his back wheel didn't follow his front wheel into the rut he was in.
Oh.
And didn't get the drive off the top of that jump. Front end just dropped. That's horrible.
I don't think he's alone. There are little birds that are singing to him right now.
Yeah, I've seen this guy take some hard crashes and get up and walk away. He's as flexible as a Ukrainian gymnast.
Well, he's going to need every bit of that, as Chad Reed is now in second position. Again, everybody's moved up a spot with the exit of the leader, James Stewart. And it's going to be a leisurely checkered flag for the number 4 Suzuki rider as he will finish up moto number 1.
With a concussion and bone bruises in the knee area, James Stewart sat out Moto 2, critically damaging his chances of winning his first AMA Motocross class title. The question now wasn't whether Ricky Carmichael could win, but how much could he win by?
Ricky Carmichael pretty well gone. Villeman trying to hold these two off. And here comes Chad Reed. Let's give him the number 3 spot for the moment. And as he turns inside, it'll be official.
It's hard to say how much heart Chad Reed's putting into this, you know, not to knock him down or anything, but he's already said this may be his last national season. He wants to just do Supercross.
But Reed didn't show any signs of slowing as he blitzed by his former teammate in the whoops. The only person he needed to figure out how to beat was already 30 seconds ahead at the finish.
Good morning and welcome to Motocross 338. Welcome to Southwick, Massachusetts.
Former 125cc national champ Travis Pastrana came out to play in the sandbox, while Doug Henry, another former champ, did an AMA Supermoto race in Wisconsin before boarding a private jet to race Southwick the very next day.
The battles that we've been waiting for, no longer dominated by any one rider. AMA Motocross is really a three-way fight. If you include Chad Reed, who's just made the move on Davey Millsap to move into 3rd spot, so all the players are up front again.
2 weeks out from the crash at High Point, James Stewart eased his way into Southwick, but came out swinging at race time.
Ricky Carmichael watching and studying. You know he's being patient and looking for a weakness or even waiting for a mistake.
And, you know, Ricky, you can see he has got to stay wide. He's got to try to stay out of James' roost. You know, he's in his lines coming out of those turns. He's just getting face full of sand.
If RC was waiting for Stewart to get tired or sore, it wasn't happening. The battle ensued for several laps, with Carmichael dogging the number 7 Kawasaki.
Side by side, Carmichael and Stewart. Carmichael making his first bid to take the lead here, and he is edged in front just ever so slightly. Stewart with a shorter inside line, though, will be able to fight back. And the lap rider, number 31, and that is Jason Thomas, is probably thinking, wow, this is cool. Doug Henry on the number 19 machine, and he's racing twice in the same weekend in 2 very different forms of motorsport. Here's Travis Pastrana, the number 199. Fans always come out to see that yellow Suzuki.
Then with a huge lead and less than 2 laps to go, Carmichael swapped out on a choppy sweeper and went down hard. Stewart took the lead.
Here's where we're going to figure out just how far behind Stewart was, but now James Stewart goes flashing by and has become the leader in this one. Carmichael's going to have to try to run him down all over again.
Well, you could see Ricky when he came out of that sweeper there, he just got into a bump too deep and the back end swapped back around.
And he was able to get the bike started, but he has lost a bunch of ground.
Mere hours after questioning whether he would even be okay to ride, Stewart rode away with the moto win.
Side by side, James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael off the starting gate. Stewart gets the better start and could have gotten the whole shot award. In any case, he comes out with the lead, with Carmichael sitting in the number 2 position, and I believe that's Millsap's third.
Wow, Ricky's not wasting any time. He talked about wanting to get James earlier the first moto. He's all over him, trying to make something happen right now.
Almost made a pass right there, but James Stewart holds on. And already, just 3 or 4 turns into the race, they're beginning to pull away from quite a few riders. Davey Millsap's the only one who's really hanging tough. This is an idea, gives you a little bit different idea, a little bit better idea perhaps about how rough it is.
Wow, I feel like I'm on a space shuttle re-entry or something.
Continuing to find an opening, looking for an opening to try to get around Stewart. We heard him say he should have done it earlier in the first moto. Now he pulls up alongside into the lead. Stewart, though, with the inside line, battles back to the front. Right-hand turn, Stewart's got the edge. Carmichael's going to have to settle for second for the time being again.
Carmichael's not going to lay off him. I mean, he's going to keep the pressure on him right to the end if he lasts that long.
So now Stewart with a little bit of a wide line. Carmichael swapping ends, almost had a disaster happen there, but he gathers it back up, loses the lead to Stewart again. That's 3 lead changes in the last 30 seconds. Of course, the manufacturers have to love it as Carmichael takes the lead again.
Whoa.
Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Honda, they're all right there. Everybody's got a little something to be happy about here today at Southwick.
That was old school RC too. Feet off the pegs, a little sideways, just wide open.
And Stewart likewise coming back with a very, very determined effort here. Pulls up alongside on the inside of the right-hand turn. Carmichael with a bike length or 2 is going to stay in front. Here he comes, Stewart. The crowd goes crazy. A little too much off the berm.
While RC and Stewart created an instant classic at the front, Chad Reed and Davey Millsaps had a battle of their own for the podium. Late in the race, Stewart lost Carmichael but looked strong for a second overall.
Stewart doesn't appear as though he is gathering himself for any sort of late attack. Oh. In fact, whoa, we saw smoke first, which tells me something was wrong with the bike, and that was not a James Stewart error. That was a mechanical problem. The effect is still the same.
You just can't keep taking those kind of blows and expect to keep racing.
And Ricky Carmichael has to have guessed what has happened, that James Stewart has left the building, so to speak. And Ricky Carmichael earns his win in moto number 2.
Hey, see you next week at Budds Creek, Maryland.
Carmichael is here and James Bubba Stewart is not. So that's part of the storyline. So who's going to step up to try to challenge RC? Well, we don't know yet. There is the temperature, and yes, indeed, at 10:30 in the morning, it is plenty warm. From the left side of the starting grid to the whole shot, we've got the inevitable pile up at the back of the field here. Looking real quick, no major contenders.
Josh Demuth in there.
Yep, Demuth, but out in front, the number 48 machine, Jeff Gibson, is our leader. Not sure if he was the one with the whole shot. In fact, the whole shot, I think, went to Barry Karsten, who's quickly back to 4th or 5th position, and Carmichael's up to 3rd. Make that 2nd as he parks it.
Yeah, he's not wasting any time getting to the front, but it's good to see a couple of privateer guys, Jeff Gibson being one of them.
Carmichael way wide around the outside. Gibson still holding on to the lead. Carmichael with a big drive jumps right by. There is Chad Reed. Red outfit, blue bike on the Yamaha number 22.
To race with Carmichael, first you have to start with him. For Reed, it was another solid performance, but 2nd place once again. By race's end, Carmichael put over 24 seconds between he and 2nd place to take his 5th moto win of the season.
Leading Ricky Carmichael and doing a pretty good job of it here as the Team Makita Suzuki number 4 is getting a little bit closer. And Chad Reed is your leader on the Yamaha. Here comes the Suzuki. Carmichael up inside. Nope, can't make it work there. They jump together. That's a great shot.
What a difference one moto makes. Reed looks the most determined he's ever been outdoors as he kept RC guessing for several laps.
You just can't win when you got them all over you like this.
Carmichael still trying hard to stay out of the roost and make a pass. Those are two very difficult things to do at the same time. He's inside a block. Oh, that looked familiar.
Wow.
Bang! And Ricky Carmichael is your leader.
I don't even think he had separated from Chad, and he grabbed the tear off in the gear, and he was gone.
Carmichael marched to the win, putting a dozen seconds between he and Reed by the end of the moto.
It's going to be a nice big wheelie, and Ricky Carmichael will go no hands across the line. 1-1, take both motos in the overall. He keeps his undefeated streak here at Budds Creek Motocross Park alive in the finest way possible.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Redbud, Michigan. Are you folks ready for motocross?
Off they go. Looking for the number 7 there, Stewart. 22, Chad Reed. And out in front, however, it is the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. He gets the whole shot. There's a little bit of mayhem going on behind him, but Carmichael is your leader.
James Stewart was back, but said he was not quite 100% with his body or his bike at round 5. The team was playing with suspension settings all weekend and just wanted Stewart to put in 2 solid motos.
33rd visit to the Redbud Track and Trail, and they do not rest on their laurels here. They keep trying to make this place better, more interesting, and provide racing that the fans can enjoy.
The battle here, Wyndham certainly wants to get by Villeman, and does. Villeman looks like he almost let him go there, gave him a little look.
Battle continuing between the 2 Hondas of Davey Millsaps on the 118. Kevin Wyndham on the 14, gets close, gets inside, makes the pass.
After a march from mid-pack, Wyndham ended the moto in 4th behind Stewart and Reed.
Ricky Carmichael still earning some cheers from the crowd as he takes a look back, has enough time to do so. See just how close James Stewart might be. Kicks it out a little bit. Ricky Carmichael will cross the finish line, jump, and has earned the win in moto number 1 here at Redbud. So the 2 best motocrossers in the world have found one another again here at the start of Moto 2.
It's like deja vu, man. Same guys right up front.
Timmy Ferry, I think, slotted into 3rd position. Thought I saw the number 15.
Carmichael led early before a slip up near the whoops on lap 2.
Look at James Bubba Stewart is the leader. Ricky Carmichael has tipped over, gotten back up, kept it running, and now he's going to have to chase the number 7 here. So we might see some racing between these two, because Carmichael made a mistake, and now Stewart is your leader.
It looked like it was going to be an RC runaway, but now these two are going to have to fight it out.
After Moto 1, Carmichael was enthusiastic about how well the bike was feeling in this particular weekend. All the hard work testing, he said, had finally paid off.
Well, he definitely pulled a lot closer there through the whoops, and at the tail end of it, almost gets up inside. Stewart saws him off at the front. Here comes Carmichael, carrying huge speed, makes the pass. And Stewart trying to come back around the outside. They're in 2 different ruts. Stewart crosses back over on the inside, can't make it happen. Ricky Carmichael takes the lead and holds it. Now he's just roosting all over James.
Yeah, Ricky's just on it. You can tell he feels comfortable. He's cutting inside of him, running it inside. He's feeling good. You're not going to beat this guy.
Kevin Wyndham had a better start in Moto 2, but ended with the same 4th place finish after being run down by Chad Reed late in the race.
And he's well on his way to a victory here in both motos and the overall, and now he's asking the crowd for more.
Well, he's giving them a little show right now. You have no idea how hard it is to get that 450 flat off a jump that big.
Well, if it can be done, Ricky Carmichael will do it. Carmichael will win moto number 2 and take the overall at the same time. Ricky Carmichael's chances of picking up another win here this weekend are pretty good, but this is a place he's made no secret it's not his favorite.
The same can probably be said for Stewart as well. During a Sunday morning practice session, he crashed violently hard. Even though he got back on the bike, he sat out the racing action.
And the gates are down. Off they go. Who's going to get the whole shot? And more importantly, who will get the lead here on lap number 1 as they come around the corner? It is going to be
Davey Millsaps.
Davey Millsaps. Wow, what a great start for the 118 Millsaps on his Honda. And Carmichael in second position right behind him.
After a last-minute decision to ride the 450 outdoors, 18-year-old Millsaps found himself fourth in the standings, only a single point behind Kevin Windham. In only his 6th start, he also found himself leading the best in the world, Ricky Carmichael.
There's not a whole lot of point in trying to keep Ricky behind you. He's probably going to make his way by. In fact, Davey might be smart here to let him by and follow his lines and try to learn some things from him. I mean, the chances of him keeping Ricky behind him for 40 minutes, not very good.
They would probably waver somewhere between slim and none, but Ricky Carmichael taking his time to get around the youngster Davey Millsaps on the 118 Honda. Millsaps, then Carmichael looking very relaxed and patient. Chad Reed behind him does not seem to be much of an issue. Carmichael's gaining on the 22 Yamaha while he's just stalking Millsaps, the leader.
The promoters worked hard at filtering out a lot of the legendary rocks, but as you can see by race time, they were already seeping up through the thick soil. Carmichael waited less than 2 laps to get aggressive and make a move.
There goes Ricky Carmichael around Millsaps, the youngster on the factory Honda team, carrying the banner so far in the early part of the season for the Big Red Machine. And Kevin Windham, though, starting to come into his own here later on. Now Millsaps, he's all in the roost there. You can see just ducking his visor down, trying to keep from getting hit in the face with dirt and rocks.
After a brief fight for the lead, Carmichael was able to put 42 seconds between he and Millsaps at the end. For RC, another moto win, but for Millsaps, his second place was proof that he has the foundation to be a future champion.
And there it is. Ricky Carmichael officially wins moto number 1 at Unadilla. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but Millsaps and Windham won 2 that time.
K-Dub finally got a good start. That's awesome.
And on board with number 16, John Dowd, the great veteran, carrying our Jones can.
Watch the rocks fly at him. I mean, you can see literally that not only the dirt clods, but rocks coming and whipping right by that camera.
And Davey Millsaps with 2 good starts, but now it's going to be fun to see what K-Dub can do running from up front.
He glances over, sees Carmichael coming by, doesn't really fight him on that one.
As it's been all year, nobody really had much for Carmichael on this day. Like Unadilla or not, Carmichael's record speaks for his will to win anywhere, anytime. On lap 2, he started working on Millsaps for the lead. The pass came near the same section it did in Moto 1. Millsaps wasn't able to hold on to second place. Late in the moto, he fell victim to Windham, who finished second overall on the day and kept his 1-point lead over the rookie.
There it is. Checkered flag for Ricky Carmichael, another overall win at Unadilla, a place that even though he does not care for it particularly well, he does extremely well indeed.
Hi, we're the Progressive Girls, and welcome to Thunder Valley.
For the second year, round 7 was held just 20 minutes from downtown Denver, where the mile-high altitude keeps even the factory mechanics challenged on jetting and fuel issues.
So the number 118 is out in front, and both Carmichael and Stewart buried kind of mid-pack. What a great start by Millsaps. Chad Reed in second.
After sitting out round 6 due to a crash, Stewart made another return to racing. For the fans, as he said pre-race.
Travis Preston also running among the leaders. Here comes Ricky Carmichael. He's already earned a few spots here in the opening lap at Thunder Valley. So Ricky Carmichael headed towards the front after not the best of starts. Word is that he might have bumped the gate just a little bit as he tried to take off.
After bad starts, Carmichael and Stewart sliced their way through the packs of riders.
Wow, Carmichael passed 2 riders up into 3rd position as he takes Michael Byrne and the number 11 Travis Preston.
Meanwhile, Stewart, who started from further back, was making his own quick passes.
He's heading up towards Timmy Ferry right now, and also to Michael Byrne. He's got Ferry. Here's Byrne. Byrne just in front of him. Ricky Carmichael showing great speed to get to the front. And let's see if James Stewart can get up there to challenge.
At the front, RC already had 1st and 2nd in sight.
Flattens that one out nice, gets the drive, gets the wheels down on the ground, and makes the pass on Kevin Windham for 2nd. Textbook and beautiful. Here's that section where Carmichael is so good. He gets up alongside Millsap's on the inside. He's so good at getting the wheels on the ground. He's able to drive off the corners a little quicker, and just like that, Ricky Carmichael is in the lead. Davey Millsap's now probably affected somewhat by the quick and rather ruthless pass.
By the end of the moto, Millsap's found himself fighting off Stewart for 2nd.
So far, so good. Stewart pulls up alongside, gets the wheels on the ground, in position in the rut. Millsaps crosses back behind him, but Stewart's too much drive. And Reed having a frustrating day here. Goes for a tear-off just to get a few seconds rest. Final lap for Ricky Carmichael, and it looks like another moto win. No problems for Davey Millsaps, who bubbles right to the front, but this time he's got Ricky Carmichael for company immediately. Not sure if he got the whole shot, but Millsaps, sure enough, getting out in front. The 717 is Kyle Mace. We saw him briefly in the first race, so he seems to have the start dialed here at Mile High Thunder Valley.
Within a quarter lap, Carmichael was in his customary number 1 position, while Millsaps fell back to 2nd place. Reed was in 3rd, and Stewart was 5th on the opening lap.
And with all due respect to Hanna, to Johnson, to Stanton, and even to McGrath, yeah, greatest of all time, GOAT, hard to argue against Ricky Carmichael, isn't it?
Sure is. This guy's broken just about every record, won everything there is to win. Got nothing to prove. He's still out there just killing it.
Hey, Matt Walker, welcome to Washougal, 06.
1 year ago, Davey Millsaps couldn't buy a good start. And now in the second half of 2006, he was grabbing nearly every hole shot and leaving his competition scratching their heads.
Chad Reed through the whoops, takes the lead from Millsaps and goes for a quick tear off there as Chad Reed puts the number 22 Yamaha out in front. Millsaps going, where did he come from?
Carmichael started mid-pack at best, but his main competition, Stewart, was in the top 5.
James Stewart, block pass, made that look easy on Millsaps, went right inside, and you could see it coming from 2 turns away. Ricky Carmichael has now made an appearance behind Kevin Windham in 5th position as Stewart takes over 2nd.
For Carmichael, it was a long way to the front after losing a lot of ground on the first lap. But for the fans, it was a chance to see if Carmichael could actually run down Stewart and Reed after a 20-plus second deficit. After 4 laps, Stewart was within sight of Reed and still well ahead of Carmichael. While all by himself, Reed found that the Washougal soil wasn't as loamy as it looks.
Oh, down goes Chad Reed.
Well, like I said, this ground is very, very hard and shiny. It looks like it's good traction, but you can see there, that little light patch, that's just shiny, hard, slick dirt.
If you're a motocross fan, you're smiling right now, and if you look close, you'll see smiles on the faces of the fans around the fences here. Carmichael goes outside, crosses back in with a great drive up the hill. They flatten it out side by side, little kickouts there, and here they come in tandem. James Stewart with Ricky Carmichael right behind him. Inside goes Carmichael again to take the lead, but not for long. And he does it again, side by side. Pushes Stewart out off the edge of the track. And Ricky Carmichael takes advantage by a couple of bike lengths. You know this is not over.
Well, Ricky's been definitely forcing the issue. Anytime these two get together, he doesn't waste a lot of time. He gets in there. If he's got to bump him, he did it at Budds Creek. He'll just He'll just shove you out of the way. Yeah, that's how he gets around you now.
And the rain has subsided for the time being, so the track, whatever. Oh, Stewart turns the favor right back, comes in and blasts Carmichael to take the lead. Now Carmichael just took the lead again in a very gentlemanly pass by comparison. So apparently the hostilities have subsided somewhat, at least, with an exchange of block passes. Carmichael now with the advantage, and Stewart trying to find a way back around.
Carmichael had to fight for the lead all the way to the moment he crossed the finish line. Even he couldn't tell you the last time he actually had to fight for a win on the last lap.
Gates drop for moto number 2. Ricky Carmichael looking for a better start. James Stewart fighting for the whole shot award, and I don't think he got it.
Another bad start for Carmichael, and after a quarter lap, he got caught in a pileup.
Oh, we got somebody down.
Got a problem down here, and Carmichael's one of the riders down. Chad Reed had taken over second position.
Ricky knows the gap that he's got now, the gap that he's got to make up, and maybe he can, maybe he can't, but he wants to keep going immediately and try to close that gap up.
Stalking Chad Reed, trying to find a place to get around him. He goes way outside on this one, setting something up for the right-hander. He gets in tight and makes the pass for now anyway. Side by side up the hill, Ricky Carmichael gets the job done.
There's a pretty big gap to James. I mean, I don't know that he can close that kind of distance, but we'll see.
We'll see indeed. After coming back from a further distance than he did in Moto 1, Carmichael not only caught Stewart, but did it with 3 laps to go.
Right in front of the mechanic signal area, Ricky Carmichael shows Goose that he can get it done as he goes past James Stewart now. Indeed, 1-1 for Carmichael will give him the overall, but a 2-1 for James Stewart would give the number 7 rider that overall win. On the uphill section here, James Stewart right behind him trying to capitalize. They go side by side over the jump. The next turn's a left-hander. Stewart can't make it work.
That was the Bubba scrub right there, in case you were wondering.
2 laps to go, and Carmichael had built a small cushion over Stewart. Not enough to relax, but breathing room at least. A gambler would have easily kept his money on RC, but a rare error and a bizarre crash gave the lead and win to Stewart.
An epic get-off by Ricky Carmichael, who's on his feet before the bike stops moving. And now the question is, nope, it is not still running. The bike did stall, but he gets it running pretty quickly.
My front end was, just sliding, and it caught and flipped me over. I'm lucky I'm not hurt. But, man, just disappointed. That was a dumb mistake, and I only had a lap and a half, and I just broken James, and all I had to do was bring it home, but I failed.
James Stewart and the checkered flag. He gets handed a certain amount of good fortune, but a lot of us, including me, are going to say that James Stewart had him covered here in Moto 2.
Living it up large in Millville, man. Rock on, pump it up. Get on down, let's get it on in Millville, baby.
Carmichael and Chad Reed side by side. Reed getting the better of it, but around the outside, our whole shot winner looks like it's going to be Justin Buckaloo. And holding our breath, it appears as though everybody's gotten through. James Stewart quickly to the lead around Buckaloo, and Millsaps moves up into second position.
RC was buried a little bit coming around that first turn. I still don't see him. Oh, there he is.
About 7th or 8th, perhaps. And here comes Carmichael railing around the outside. Did he just pass 2 and now 3 riders in one turn? I believe he did.
Yeah, he did. That's ridiculous.
Stewart looking good. Oh, and now not looking so good.
A slide to home plate by Stewart handed the lead to Reed, whose bike had blown a header pipe on the second lap.
Side by side through the whoops. That's how much better Ricky Carmichael is in the notorious Spring Creek whoops. Takes over the lead and made it look easy. And here goes James Stewart. Is going to come around Chad Reed right now. You can see it, and it's inevitable. Oh, he almost lost the back wheel again. The same spot, wasn't it?
Same exact turn. Reed's bike sounds like a hopped up lawnmower.
For Carmichael, another moto win. He is undefeated in the motocross class at Millville. He has never lost a moto here. While the threat of some rain was in the sky, nobody could have expected the deluge that came down during the second lights moto. Needless to say, the track was in a drastically different state from the opening moto.
As the gate drops and everybody sort of eases out on the clutches here, the whole shot award's going to go to a hero this time around, and around the outside it is Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael out in front with James Stewart in second position. And wow, what a mess. I mean, if it was a Chinese fire drill, now it's a crapshoot. We're used to seeing James going way faster than that as he comes up behind Chad Reed's bike that's stuck in the mud. And now Stewart is going to join him. So the number 2 and number 3 motocross riders in the world have just sort of parked it together and can only look on in frustration.
How over it are those two guys? They're just like, dude, I don't know, I'm stuck. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm stuck too. This sucks.
Look at this. What a comedy. Here comes Villeman. He manages to shoot through a gap that has also now collected Jason Thomas on the 31. Villeman gets a standing O for that move. So Stewart trying to find some way to get moving, and Ricky Carmichael's lead is just growing and growing. What a mess! Look at this!
Hey, we need some circus music.
As Reed and Stewart slid around in the mud, Carmichael had built such a lead that nobody watching the race could easily figure out who was even in second place. Stewart held that position until this frustrating series sent him back to fourth.
Wiping the grips, that's going to be problems.
You know,
that is not legal to get outside assistance.
At the white flag, David Villeman, who was in second place, crossed just in front of the leader, Carmichael. At that moment, Carmichael broke another AMA motocross record.
Ricky Carmichael comes down the hill past David Villeman, who's running second right now. So Carmichael has lapped the entire field here in Millville. There is no joy in Millville today for anybody but Ricky Carmichael, and he's showing plenty of it. He's got to be pretty happy out there. Not only having fun, but winning big. Laps the field. Wow.
That just happened, Dreb. Do you understand that?
Wow.
He just lapped second place. That's ridiculous.
On a muddy day, Mother Nature has dealt out her very, very worst, and Ricky Carmichael has taken it all. He's going to stop and enjoy this one.
The overall win at Millville marks his 7th in a row at the Spring Creek facility. At round 10 of the 2006 AMA Motocross Series, Ricky Carmichael, the red-headed kid from Florida, only needed 17th place in Moto 1 to wrap up his 10th consecutive AMA Motocross Championship. Anyone believing Carmichael would actually do just enough to get by was sorely mistaken.
Inside he goes, jets away off the turn, and Ricky Carmichael, just like that, is in second position.
Halfway through lap 2, Carmichael was working on Millsaps. At the same time, Stewart was trying to get by Wyndham for third. Carmichael blitzed by Millsaps on the downhill, but Stewart wasn't able to finish off Wyndham until a few corners later.
And now Stewart gaining rapidly on Millsaps, jumps right by. Two riders within a couple of turns.
Got to give a little shout out to Barry Karsten, who just turned 137 years old, and he's still qualifying for nationals.
Oh! Millsaps on the inside there, gets tangled up a little bit. And Ricky Carmichael, we have actually officially long ago run out of superlatives for the man riding this number 4 Makita Suzuki. He is the best that ever has been in the sport of motocross.
Man, what a way to go out on top. Suzuki has provided me with a great team, and just glad that I could do it. You know, I win this AMA Outdoor National Championship is amazing. I've never lost one, and got to thank you guys and just all my sponsors. I really appreciate it. I can't even believe it.
Ricky, with all the championships that you've won in the past, where does this championship rank on your retirement?
Oh, really, really high, because all the competition, and you know, no one can ever say that I did it with no competition, because I had the best guys, and man, it's just hard work, and I'm just super, super pumped. I know I'm not showing it, but I am really, really excited. This is what everybody races for and what everybody trains for so hard.
And if you thought RC might take it easy now that the championship is over, you're also mistaken. Carmichael said he wanted to continue to prove his point straight to the end.
It is Davey Millsaps again with Carmichael where? In about fourth again. No, third. It's same order. Carmichael quickly into second and to the lead. Wow.
He's running a #1 jersey. Looks like Millsaps kind of let him go there. I don't know what that was all about.
Stewart wasn't able to get into second until the following lap. Carmichael was already long gone.
Stewart jumps past Millsaps. Can he hold the advantage? Yes. Gets into the whoops first and now runs in second position.
Riding all by himself on lap 3, Carmichael swapped it out and lost the lead to Stewart.
That looked like it could have been ugly.
Kept it running, and Stewart goes by. So now the fans are going to get a battle. Let's see if Carmichael can make up ground. This patient man will wait until just the right opportunity to try to pass that #7 Kawasaki.
I wonder if he knows his visor's pointing straight up in the air like that.
It only took Carmichael 2 laps to run it up on the back wheel of Stewart. Pointy visor and all.
Round he goes.
That's it.
Yep, Ricky Carmichael has retaken the lead. The crowd comes alive here at Binghamton because Stewart is still fighting. And through the whoops, pulls right up to the back wheel of Carmichael again. 2 different ruts around the left-hander, and Ricky Carmichael with an advantage of maybe 2 bike lengths, but James is hanging right there.
Carmichael was able to drop Stewart after another lap and cruise to another win at the Broome Tioga facility. It was his 95th AMA motocross victory.
Welcome to Steel City!
Whole shot, Ricky Carmichael takes it with another quick start on his Makita Suzuki.
Yeah, not exactly a stunner. Ricky's done that quite a bit this year. He's always been great at getting whole shots and always being right at the front, and starts this moto right up there.
Rockstar Suzuki's Ryan Mills started in 3rd and finished in 3rd, his best ever moto in this class. At the front, not much of a story to tell as Carmichael cruised to the win.
He's just crawling around now, making sure he gets to the finish line.
And Ricky Carmichael has earned yet another moto win here, and he has repeated as a winner at Steel City. And who's to think that anyone but Ricky Carmichael is going to get the whole shot again here, as he is wedged in between Davey Millsaps and Tim Ferry, but instead this time it's James Stewart who comes out with a whole shot apparently, and the #7 Kawasaki showing him the way here on lap #1.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We got a race on our hands now. Where's Carmichael?
Ricky Carmichael and everybody else in pursuit. Here comes the #4 up to 6th place and looking for more. Works up inside. There it is. Pulls alongside and over the jump. Gives him a little bit of a wave as he goes by. Carmichael ahead of Brown now and up to 3rd.
Extra motivation to win was in the Monster Energy Triple Crown, of which he'd won the previous 2 rounds. A win here gets him a $30,000 bonus.
And James Stewart having a little bit of a problem there. Stalled the bike out, tipped over, and that is a fairly big development that we hadn't expected. So now Ricky Carmichael is your new leader, and he did it the easy way with his opponent laying on the ground. It already looks like the cool down lap, but he's still racing, sort of. although not against much of anyone, as the finish line comes in sight. And Carmichael will take that checkered flag and earn yet another overall win.
Glen Helen Raceway in San Bernardino, California. The final stop and a final chance to watch the two best riders in the world battle as both are racing as if there was still a championship on the line.
Glen Helen National underway. James Stewart with a late charge into turn number 1. Does he come out with the whole shot? Apparently so. James Stewart on the number 7 Kawasaki gets out in front, and he's followed immediately by the number 4 Ricky Carmichael. So the two principal contenders in motocross racing today are out front together.
Hopefully we can get a good battle going here at the last round of the year. We had some great races earlier on in the season.
RC and Stewart chased each other early in the moto throughout Glen Helen's new layout, which included some monster step-ups and triples.
There goes Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky goes by, swaps ends. Stewart rails around the outside and repays the favor. They're side by side. Listen to the crowd now. Yeah, they're getting the race they came to see and paid for. Yeah, this is some racing here. Stewart maintains the lead after several exchanges of that position. So a little preview of things to come here as Carmichael starting to show some signs of wanting to fight for the win.
You know, James had faster lap times in the second practice. Whoa.
Here comes Ricky again. He goes by and gets the block pass going into a left-hander. Carmichael has gone down. He's back up again. Oh, but no, he's hurting. That left shoulder is hurting. He's not going to hold on to the handlebars. He's one-handing it around the track. Is it possible that Ricky Carmichael will not finish a race for the first time?
Yeah, Ricky's heading in. He's done.
So in his last race as a full-time professional, Carmichael did not finish. Up to now, he had never not finished a motocross race due to injury or fatigue. James Stewart inherited the lead after Carmichael's crash and cruised to the win ahead of Kevin Windham and Davey Millsaps.
James Stewart is sporting his Motocross Donations uniform and scheme on his bike there as he will represent the United States and England. It's a nice look.
It's kind of hard to recognize him in that number 3 garb. He obviously will only be running this moto just to kind of show everybody what it's going to look like next weekend in England.
Carmichael's injury was bad enough that he left the Glen Helen pits early and headed home to be evaluated. His left shoulder had been badly bruised and his movement was limited. Before the moto, he called James Stewart to tell him to take it easy and just finish the race. The Motocross Donations was only 2 weeks away, and with RC questionable, the rest of the team needed to remain healthy.
We've got some hubbub going on here among the Honda mechanics in the mechanics area. Because coming in, that's Kevin Windham's coming in on the number 14. And it's never good when you're behind the banners and 2 guys are working on your bike in the middle of the race. James Stewart leading unchallenged at this point. As we wait for the second rider to come through, there's Millsaps, probably 8 or 9 seconds, maybe 10 between them.
So James Stewart ended the season just as he started it, in first place. And with Stewart in line to become the next motocross champion, being the only person to beat Carmichael in many years, the question remains, who is going to challenge him next year?